Salam sejahtera. Good day, everyone. So my name is Irina. So today we are going into another interesting session for this CTRE online e-learning. We will talk about is what is the interpreter or what's in the interpretation is important, and also for the digital marketing skill. Okay. And currently, I'm actually since 10 years ago in 2010. I'm actually a licensed tourist guide from a city guide, and I venture myself, into a tour operator as well. So when I do as a tour operator in 2010, basically in Malaysia for digital marketing, and also we talk about content creation, it was not that popular. And what I did was from this 10 years journey, in fact, I do a lot of trial and error, and I also do a lot of research, then that's come into, this stage. So although right now our situation in the whole world, it doesn't looks to be like very positive at the moment, okay, because the pandemic, the world pandemic, it's still ongoing. But my message to everyone is don't need to worry about this world pandemic. But most importantly is how we should strengthen ourselves. Okay, and that is the reason why that I choose when I've been sharing about this topic, when they ask about this topic. So I would love to share my experience. So it's not so much about like what kind of skill and what kind of knowledge, but throughout the whole presentation, I will more into my sharing, and I would like to use my, the real experience, my hands-on as a real case study, for all of you to look into it, and hopefully that after this session that I can create awareness, and also I can helping you, and hopefully to support you further. Yeah. So now I'm going into our slide now. Yeah. So if you look at this digital marketing things, I would like to divide it into two parts. So the first part, I want to more emphasizing on, before we talk about marketing, we need to understand that we need to have a good contents. Okay. So in my part one, I want to share and also giving you some advices through my experiences. What do we mean by the good contents? And how can we creating the good contents? So you see the topic of the part one is called the role of tourism interpreter. Interpretation, in fact, during our training as a tourist guide, I think maybe we didn't emphasize so much on the word interpretation. But if you will venture yourself, or you want to continue further, into be a specialist in the future, then interpretation is always playing a very important element. So what is interpretation? So in short, I would like to share you, interpretation is just like you have a good theme, and this theme is actually not a topic, but the theme that carry a good message. So whatever you do, whatever you presented it, or even though how you organizing, your activities, or how you do the arrangement, and all this is related to the message that you would like to send it out strongly. So in short, that I feel be a good content creators, because when we talk about digital marketing, something that you want to marketing it, you need to make sure that what are you marketing it. And we can't wait till your visitor to reach you now at this moment. So right now, even though everybody have to like stay at home, but doesn't mean like everybody stay at home, just leave. So meanwhile, they actually looking into like looking for like information. They start searching for resources, and also some of them even plan. Even myself, I already start plan like, oh, when the world is getting better, I wish, which country I would like to travel. So this is the right time that I can, do some good research, and finding out more. So that's why the good content creator is like you and me, that we should use our own experiences and to compiling it. So when we compiling it, this content, that's why I put it as quality. We need to have a quality content, because now with this economic, it's getting a little bit like, I'm not saying like the peak time, but from time to recovering is going to take some time. So consumer will seriously look into like products. So when they choose the product, they like the word is called quality. So quality and standard. So standard like what? I think from throughout these 48 days, coming to 50 days of this movement control order. So what we learn is standard of procedures. Like even though we want to run a business, even though we want to do any activity we want to carry out. So now we are very focusing on we have to comply our standard of the procedure, that what is required from the Ministry of Health. So that is to provide the assurance and the safety. Yeah. So when I touch the word quality and standard is, so we have to set like certain like quality, that what we mean. So in the next few slides, I would like to share you more on the quality and also the standard part, because the standard part is more on like a skill, like how you arranging, how you organizing, okay? And also you can invest, even the technology, to help you to enhance it. So in here in the slide, I share you more on the word interpretation skill is the storytelling. So how you make a good story to promote your products. And then if you look at the second part, arranging and the organizing skill, which is what kind of activity you would like to arrange it. Okay, and to make sure the message to be carried out clear. And lastly, the technology, such as like have a good website, or maybe you can use a social media campaign and so on. So you don't want to campaign in your social media, which is just a picture or yourself. It's not going to be attract. So that is where like you need a lot of videos. And because today I would say that now the consumer are getting demanding. Not just only like words they want to read, they just reading, but they like to see, because right now they couldn't touch. That's why the ultimate goal is for them to come and touch it, to feel it, right? When the word is getting better. But right now, what we can attract them is more on the showing them a good website and how can we put all our storyline, our picture, video using some social media to support us. Yeah. Okay, so this is some example for you, the activities to promote with the support of the social media. So what we do is like, just to sharing with you, 10 years ago, I started with the Malaysia Heritage Walk, and then from these 10 years, in fact, I have created a community. It's called Be Tourist Community. And in fact, this year, we're going to celebrate the 10 years, our 10 years of our walking tour anniversary. So this Be Tourist Community, it's when last year we decided to start, with just to give a little bit gimmick, and we come out of all sorts of daily program, a special program, and we spending this festival kind of a concept for 7 days, because TOURIST, the word tourist, it comes from the 7-letter words, and each of the word is interpret one very important message, which I will share you later. So this is to share you some of the activity. We use the poster, digital poster way, and come out the activity and the time, and then we promote in our social media. Yeah. And this is the rest. You can see like, going into the jungle, we do some night walking, and we do some spiritual, promote the understanding, and also we engage the local traders. So why all these concepts? So you see, when you want to build a good content, it's not about just the activity you run. And just now I mentioned the word theme. So theme is actually your message. But in order for you to have a good theme or the good message, firstly, you have also to think about like what is the object you would like to promote. So what I did was I used the TOURIST, the 7 letters of these capital words, and turn it into a 7 uniqueness product. Okay, so my first product for T means Old Town. So in the Old Town, my theme is architecture speaks heritage. So identify the tourism impacts toward the Old Town in both positive and negative impact from the changing of the architecture throughout the years, aligned with the development of tourism. So when I do the heritage walk, I want to make it specifically to spell it out loud on this architecture speaks heritage. So I have to put, like, for example, like different trail in the different timeline, what are their influences, what are their story, the historical value story behind it. So to make it the old town into more interesting way. Okay. Then the word O, okay, the alphabet O. O is stand for originality food. Okay, so in this originality food, we want to share about not just running the word food tour, or I just showing you some food, or I bring you to see some food. You know, it's not about all that. So we're talking about the diverse ancient flavor of Southeast Asia. So if you look at the message, what is the key message? The close proximity of the borders between countries in Southeast Asia and consolidated influences from India and China have affected indigenous taste and cooking style. The ingredients are similar throughout most of the region. Okay, so that is where you can designing, you know, into your tour, into your contents, you know, based on, oh, this is what strong historical background, how the traditional way, including what is the original way and their taste it should be like. Yeah, so this is when we talking about the food. Then TOU, then we come to the U now, the U, UNESCO. So we learn about on this UNESCO is they are talking about promoting heritage. We have tangible and intangible heritage. So here we highlight as value of tangible and intangible heritage. And the message is cultural heritage does not refer only the monuments and collections of the object. It is also including traditions or living expression inherited from the ancestors, such as oral tradition, performing arts, social practices, ritual skill to produce traditional craft. So in other words, we would like to highlight as much as possible intangible heritage, you know, in our country and also the places. Okay, then the next one we have TOUR. So R stand for what? So R is actually rainforest. So here we highlighted the key message and the theme is life above land ecosystem. So enter into the world inhabited by the most unique and diverse creatures. Learn and appreciate the life above land ecosystem as they are also important in human ecosystem. You see, so when we designing in our this natural, especially the rainforest tour, so we are not just talking about only have the jungle trekking. So we can putting up the values for why is it the life above land ecosystem is important. So what are the habitats? What about the flora and fauna? So you can actually create a different team, and from the team, and because of that, I mean, using the key message to organizing it to make it more interesting, you know, on your product. And the next one, we have the word I. So island, okay? I stand for island. So when you can see like most of the tourists and when they travel trend today, they not just only go into the old town, they just love, enjoy the food, you know, they want to experience the culture, tangible and intangible heritage, you see, or they go to the land, but what about sea? Beach and island is playing a very important role because you have a beautiful underwater. You see, especially in Malaysia, so we were quite lucky, you know, we have like a beautiful surrounded by the South China Sea. So we have many good snorkeling site, diving site that is waiting for us, you know, to promote further. So in the underwater, the key message here, underwater ecosystem, we have underwater ecosystem performs many important environmental functions to protect the underwater ecosystem. Other elements such as safety, career, and tourism impacts towards the underwater ecosystem. So in other words, it's like when we organizing our experiences, not just only limited ourselves into the diving activity or just snorkeling, you know, in fact, we can also, you know, promote it as like a workshop style. And also we can come up, you know, like some social responsibility event, you know, to keep highlighting why the underwater ecosystem is so precious and is so important to us. And here we come to the another alphabet now, Touris. So now we are coming into the sixth, the number 6 character, which is S stand for spiritual. So here the key message, the theme was spiritual promote understanding. So especially Malaysia, in our beloved country, we are very lucky because we have diversified culture. So means it's that we have multi-religions practices around also. And this is where that some tourists, when they travel, they, of course, they would like to know more. To them, spiritual, it's part of the daily life. It's in the culture of the local people. So spiritual, over here, our theme message was spirituality is a broad concept with room for many perspectives. From experiencing the diversity of spiritual practices, it is to promote understanding on each of the religions and create peace and justice for all. So in other words, it's like when we conducting, or when we put up the good contents, what you do mean by good content is, don't forget, like religion is always promoting, create the peace and justice for all. Yeah. So that is where you can go through the ceremony, explaining to them, let them, feel it, touch it, so that is how that we can make the whole sensation, it's more purposeful. So next one, the last but not least, that we have the character, which is the T. So traditional trade. So traditional trade is basically to give us the idea, like the people. See, throughout the years, that my experiences when I'm running, products, and also I'm trying to developing products, or in other words, a good content, to put it into the digital marketing or any marketing segment, that you will realize, beside the scenery, what attract the consumer most is people, because they can see it lively. And the most important is not about just seeing them, but the interacting part, because the interacting part, it will create a kind of form of a fantastic memory. See, so that is why that I use the word hope for the community. And not forget, in our tourism sector, we always say that tourism sector is a very important industry. Why? Because we are creating lots of job opportunity for many others. So that's where the word hope here, hope there are few, actually the meaning of hope is not just, as Bahasa Malaysia we call it like harapan. It's not just a hope, but it's also more than that. So such as, like, I will explain to you further a little bit on the hope part. So when we talk about hope for the community, is not just giving them the job, but we also wish them all these skill, Aboriginal knowledge, this indigenous knowledge, they can continue further. So for those who attended the National Heritage CTRE, then I think you can now to understand, appreciate better. It's not just the heritage itself is important, but the word value, the value. The outstanding universal value is so important for the world they wish to learn. So through the direct engagement, if you look at the key message here, through the direct engagement with the traders, the public can open their eyes to see how important the traditional traders in the society, and at the same time will help the traders in their business. So when we talk about contributing economy, see, it's not about just giving them, but I think the sustainability is also very important. So not just only giving the money, but also to help up their business. So why we always say, like, support the local, buy the local products, and please support the local. Yeah. And for some reason today, consumer or the tourist itself, they don't just travel because of the word fun. And through their travel experience, they really wish and they really hope, to learn something. The learning experience is the key word here, is the value for the customers or for our tourists. Let them feel they are paying. It's not just paying just for the activity, but they are paying for the learning experiences. And this kind of contents, it's usually you will also helping you and make yourself very different from other tour packages. Because why? If you remember the first slide, we were talking about quality, and standard. And for yourself, you want to venture yourself into the digital marketing, okay? Because it's not going to be like free, seriously. So I'm so sorry. In the world, marketing, there's no such thing is called free. So you need the investment. So when you put on your effort, like time is also the investment, is also your money. So when you put in your effort, you want to make sure that good quality contents and you can produce a good standards, a quality standards, for the consumer to buy, to experience it. Yeah. So now I'm going to look into, before we go into our first break, I would like to share with you the word criteria of HOPE. So when you develop a good product, it's just like same like when you develop a good contents. So these contents, in order for you to put it into your social media platform or even into your own website, or you want to collaborate with other OTA, like online travel agent. So they actually, I'm so sorry, they would not helping you at all. They're not going to help you at all. So usually they will just give you a framework, a frame, and then you have to start, just like fill up by your own, and you have to put up your own words, putting up your own picture and everything by so on. Yeah. So this was the past experience I'm gone through. And that is where I feel like in order to help our local people or the local traders, and especially, our some of the products, they are belong to the villages. So this, how do you expect all these villages, they're able to do so, And that is why when you think that yourself, you want to venture, into this digital marketing, it's not about the technology itself, but that's why I keep emphasizing the contents. The content is so, so important. Okay, so the criteria to build a good content is, besides the topic we already have, the theme, the message, which I just shared to you, and now how to help you to brings up this value. So heritage is, whenever, it doesn't matter it is a UNESCO or non-UNESCO site. To me, it doesn't matter. Okay, and whether it's a national heritage status or not, it doesn't matter. So long understanding the impact of the tourism on heritage values, communities, and region. So that is the key message to you. Just like, I give you one example of this heritage value. Maybe your own villages, it's like Kampung Baru example. We have so many Kampung Baru, in throughout the whole Malaysia. But doesn't mean like this Kampung Baru might be familiar to you, but not familiar to others. So we have to start digging out. So in order for us to create a good content, so we have to like digging out like, what are the interesting historical story behind? So is there any like artifacts, that you knows about it, but not other people knows, they're aware about. So you have to start digging out all these artifacts, story, which can help you and supporting you on the heritage value. Yeah. And the next one is the word origin. Okay, HO, so origin. So in the word origin here, I would like to highlight it to you is protect the historical properties for their aesthetic value, personal growth, and development. So when sometimes people sharing with me, about the when they try to show me example like of this object, and they told me about this food, how good taste it is. And I always say it's like, okay, which is nice, the taste is great. But from the way they are making it, I started to, that, this is too modernized a little bit, So that's why the word authenticity is not there. I know it's really difficult, to keep as original as possible, but in order to build these great contents, because I have a platform which is called the Southeast Asia Heritage, and I have been doing this. It's like for a number of years, and many people thinking like, oh, you are the OTA also, but I say I'm the different OTA, because when I want to put the products, I need to find a very quality contents, and then and many people, they don't understand. It's like they say that, oh, that is like too difficult. How do I going to dig it out, all the historical value and etc. And how do I make sure the way of making is still in the original way? So that is why in the product development side, to create the good contents, it's slowing down myself. So that is where I would say that it's not easy, but there is a challenge. But I strongly believe, I strongly believe in Malaysia that we still have many people out there. We haven't reached them yet. And that's why I encourage tourist guide, not don't just think that yourself, your role play, your important role is just the guiding. You can do more than the guiding. See, you can just like also helping your community, helping your own family history, to go back alive if you know some interesting story and some traditional way of making it. That will be, I can assure and guarantee you, it's going to be very fun. And usually, consumer tourists, they will be touched. They will be touched because they, even though it's not like inscribed as national heritage or UNESCO heritage, but they will be very in touch on how you actually respect and value, on this history. Okay, so now we will go into the next word, which is HOP, preservation. So I always have a very strong feeling, when we talk about the word preservation, because we should be thankful, because now we also have ACT, and our government, even not only just the Ministry of Tourism, and others, the public, now it started to having, I would say that we are more matured. Seriously, we are more matured. And we started to understand, like, protect our own culture, protect our own heritage. It's a very meaningful, and it's also a very important role to play with now. So preservation here we want to talk about is, we want to emphasize and focus on retention and conservation of historic places and even intangible heritage to be passed on to the future generation. Okay, so when you look at this picture, actually it was taken in Jalan Tun HSD, the market. For those who have came to Chinatown, I think you have a visit, this very ordinary, originally look pasar, or the market, the fresh market, yeah. And I still remember about 10 years ago when I started, when I tried to searching for good trail and how to build a good trail and how to find a community to support, in order for me to make my contents great, So I was actually walking around up and down for almost like 1 year for my research. And it took me another 2 years to get the community to familiar with me. See, and this gentleman right in front of you, he is just a very ordinary person, but he has been serving in this market like for 40 over years already. So although he is not like fulfilling into our as a heritage man yet, but in terms of the 40 over years, seeing through the whole fresh market, how the changing time, and what really touched me is not about the story of the history, and it's also the local community, the personality. You see, they really love the places, and they really like respect. And in fact, like every time when I bring my tourists to walk through and passing in through, and he always smiling and say hi, make the tourists to feel like very, how to say, friendly, that how friendly, how much friendly we are as a Malaysian, So these are partially is also the contents. So you see, don't forget that contents is only the meaning by just the words, So whatever visual, okay, whatever is in the writing, whatever is something that we can touch about, it will be a great content, for you to promote it. So this is the reason why sometimes the word preservation here, I don't mean it's like only we wait for the act, only we have act, then we protect it. So you and I, that even since we are entering into the new era, going into the digitalized, and we can create the more powerful impact now because of putting up all kinds of good contents, into our social media, great story for sharing. And this is also going to be very helpful, for the marketing promotion. Yep. And next, so last but not least, but this is under the 4 criteria that we have the word education. So in this education criteria, if you look at the key message that I would love to emphasize and approach to all of you is development of educational approach for youth and children on the preservation of culture and heritage. So why I emphasizing the key, I would say the segment youth and children. When I started the business, when I doing the, going into the business, and especially you are talking about you want to be digitalized. So you can do a very quick studies on like how many of our consumer today, they are really go online. Even my mom, she is like 76 years old. She read a lot, my God. She really read a lot, from the social media, from the articles, all come from her smartphone. Okay, so that is why I say that it's not like we neglected about the old people is not important, but we are talking about like when we create all this good content and then we want to put on the digital marketing, that our specific target group now, I would say that the children today, they are travel very, very young. See, I'm pretty sure, and I can say that the moment when our world is getting better, is getting healed, and is finally is safe to travel, I can tell you is everybody is like, really rushing and really eagerly, to travel. And the parents today now, they are very much different. They don't want their children, just to learn by the books. You see, they want the children, they want the youth today also, they can like visual, feel, touch, and experience by themselves. The word hands-on experience. So when I use the word like education is when we organizing it, when we try to make our contents, don't forget the education value. See, the education value is always like, highlighted to us is to make sure that the human, we respect not only just our own culture, history, but the mother nature, and importantly is well-being. Okay, the word well-being is so important because if everyone can live healthy and well-being, the world is so much greater. So we in the tourism today, so when we putting up our contents, when come to the word education, it's not something like module 1, module 2, I'm teaching you, on this information or the skill, but the nice thoughts, the good thoughts, being thoughtful and being good mannerism, being respect, okay, being appreciated. So this is will be the very nice contents and the well-being contents that we able to put it in, into our whatever when we want to do our tour or maybe in our storyline. Then when you want to draft it out your itinerary, and all this is going to be the great contents. Yeah. So this is I just want to quickly to summarize it back again and to recap back again. When we talk about the word good contents, so the good contents is not so much just about your itinerary only, but you have to make sure that you have a good object first, or good places, or good subject. And with the subject, you must make sure you have a good theme. And the theme, which is carry the very meaningful messages or some positive messages or something that what you wish that your audience, your tourists, your customers to carry along with you. And then how to make your this theme and message impactful, stronger before they actually reaching you. That's the reason why we have marketing. So this is where you need to be not just only giving them just a poster. To be honest, poster just by photo, it's not powerful enough by today. Okay, so although the picture will speak 1,000 words, but I can share with you is video is also very, very important. Why? Because people start looking into like they want the reality, they want the real, okay, and not just by Photoshop. Okay, which is we know that sometimes the photo is so great and it's just by the Photoshop. So we're talking about real. So video, it's something that like you can make your target audience to feel the real moment. Yeah, but of course, investment into making a good video sometimes it could be cost you a lot. So that's the reason why, thanks to the technology today now, everybody have a smartphone. And then I'm sure that, during this outbreak time, and then you spend more time at home, probably you already pick up, some good skill, like on how to make, a short video or how to do a good editing. There were so many software around, from helping you. So all these will be very helpful to helping you put all your good contents and presented it. So interpretation, when we talk about the word interpretation, it's not just restricted on the word storyline, just by vocal or in the verbal way. But what about the non-verbal? So catching the good movement, organizing and make a good storyline throughout your series of your video. And in the ultimate goal is, what is your purpose? What are your good purpose? What are the good purpose means in your theme, the message that you would love to send it out loud and clear for your target audience. Yeah. And that is where today, and I need to remind you also, because when I emphasizing the word youth and children, because they are the younger generation now, and we have to understand from their environment, from their background today, they don't enjoy talking too much. Okay, so that's the reason is, it's not that they do not appreciate. By talking too much, your narrative is like too long. It's not helpful at all, seriously. And that's why nowadays when you see in the digital marketing, in the campaign, in the contents, people use a lot of visual thing rather than put too much of wordings inside. Because if they're interested, yes, the moment you create the interest, the moment you create the awareness, the moment you create the impact for them, they will keep reading. Don't worry, they definitely will read the full contents. But when we talk about marketing, is the moment like how you want to capture them. So it's in a very short time, really, really short time. Probably it's just like few seconds, you need to capture their attention. So that is why a good content is not about just the good storyline, the good words, but also how you capture the attention, like putting some impactful photo, or you putting some good video, to make them happy, to make them like feel attractive, and they will stay on with you. Yeah. So because my session is talking about digital marketing skill. So for me, is the digital marketing skill is not something just to how to use the software or use the apps, or develop into just the website, but to make a great content that is so challenging. And I want to share a little bit more on my personal experience. At first, I also thinking just to have a good trail, I just design like a 2 hours trail or maybe 3 hours trail. That is great enough, And then now I start realizing, no, 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 no. Then how do I attract the people come and join my walking tour? So I thought of initially, I thought of just having like social media campaign, just put in the Facebook and people will just buy it. You see, remember my first like quality and standard. So if you are serious about your business, okay, if you are really serious about your business, then we have to make sure we do it in proper. So today, I not only just like as a tourist guide, so I also register a proper company to run the business. And I also like invest into the website, the portal, so including the payment gateway. And I also now developing, and in fact, we also have our media team, and also we have our editor, to do all this. Because it's not something like everything you can engage. Because engage to the third party or you outsource to another person, seriously, it's not cheap at all. And especially we are just SME, we are small. Okay, and some of you already grow medium, which is great. Like me, I'm a very small. So for us, like especially, I call myself as a social enterprise. So social enterprise doesn't mean like you're just doing a business, but you're doing a business, you wish to see the impactful result coming. And then in order to save costs and save money, so everything we need to involve. So if you're asking me these 10 years, Irina, what are you doing? I'm not just creating the good contents, but I learned about videographing skill. I learned about like how to do host, and then I learned about, other like besides conducting the tour. So what else, like workshop or anything, education, trip, and even like providing services, to the government servant and also to others, to learn about how to help the local community to develop, or create the good contents. So this is what I'm actually been venture for these 10 years. So it make it great, and I have a little bit proudness for myself is, even though I started with a very small little heritage walk, which is just a 2 kilometers, and this 2 kilometers walk is already bring up to 169 countries. Okay, so in other words, it's like any chances of the country who visit Malaysia, and they have been experienced with us. And in order to talk about the word quality, it's like I always emphasizing. Now I know it's a pandemic time and making everybody is suffering, but I always looking into a very positive. Why? Because it's a changing. So when those days I started these businesses, and when I do my contents, I start looking into the capacity control. So until today, we still, doing a controlling on our real experiences, like limited, to the less than 10 people, to do in one activity. Because why is important? It's not because of now we talk about social distancing, okay? But it's also like, to create, because the word quality. So the quality is so important because that you need to make sure, and also the hygienist, and the social distancing is not like we're not trying to be unfriendly, but sometimes we just need to make sure the safety, of the each of your tourists as well. Yeah. So for this session, I just wish to highlight it to you and make you fully understand the word quality and the standard. So first, the topic and your theme, and from the theme, that how you bring the message out is where you're organizing, how you're arranging skill. And lastly, your marketing part, which is how you can actually, digital, of course, social, like media and all this is will be definitely the Internet of Things. It will be helpful because I still remember that when I started with zero, nothing, there's no Internet of Things, and try to get the target audience, I need a lots of effort. So when the moment I have my proper website going up, and when I start to have my own portal, which is the payment gateway, and I started not to depend so much, on the others already. So I'm not saying that partnership to others is not important. Don't get me wrong, but we need to be diversified. Yeah. So we're going to take a very short break. And of course, please enjoy the video. And after that, you can have the short break. See you in a while. Okay, everyone, I wish you have a great break just now. Good 10 minutes break, yeah? So we're going to continue our session today for the next part. But before going to our next part, I would like to share you this information, which is called How to Incorporate the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or in short, SDGs, into communication strategies. Because of the new era now, okay, the new era, let's say we're going to build our businesses, we're going to ready ourselves that incoming 10 years from 2020 to 2030. Yeah. So this is a global, the United Nations have set up, these goals for everybody. It's not just for the government, but in fact, it's also for we as any person who live in this planet. I think we should support, and then especially we as in the tourism industry, and we are playing a very important role. As earlier I mentioned, it's not about just creating the job. So you can see from these 17 goals that no poverty means what? Everybody must have some money, right? So that's how we create a good job. And zero hunger means it's like we need to support our local farmers and just to make sure everybody have a good food, we don't waste food. And good health and well-being, I think this is what we are looking forward now. In fact, then when the pandemic is over and all the travelers or tourists, whenever they go, they visit a country, I think these are the criteria, in fact, and this is some of the expectation they would love to, to experience it. Yeah. So I would like strongly encourage all of you, when you have time, please do not hesitate. Go into the official website, Sustainable Development Goals. They have 17, altogether they have 17 goals that which you can slowly understand the key message on the each goal. And you, as whether you are tourist guide or you are the tour operator, whether today you want to be a good content creators, or whether you want to into the digital marketing, doing any other marketings, or whether you want to do an education tour, whatever it is, please have a look because it's so important. Yeah. And if you observe and you really understand clearly, you will see when I develop my products and also when I go into my portal, and I just now I mentioned the word, I'm a social enterprise. This is my goal. So where all this goal coming from, it's all listed here in the 17 goals. So number one, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water. Number 14, 15, life on land, 16, peace, justice, and strong institution, 17, partnership for the goal. So currently, whenever I do each steps, I'm moving. Actually, these are the goals that I wish to be achieved. And later on, when I introduce about the website and so on, then you will see that in the website today that I have developing and also I have putting up. It's also in each of my product, including our own training as well. That is all the compulsory that every of us have to understand what are these 17 goals. Yeah. So I'm looking forward, you will read something, and hopefully in the future, I have another slot of time that we can go further discuss about this SDGs. So today is more on giving you the awareness, okay? Giving you the awareness, and this is part of one of some of the goals. You might not achieve all, but at least pick up one or two, to moving forward. Yeah. So in my last session for today, that which is the part 2 also, the new era of the digital marketing. So when first I venture myself into the digital marketing, I also just thinking very simple. I'm just thinking that, if I can build a website means I'm super powerful. But later on, I just realized which is not that easy. It's not about you just have a website. So website is nothing. But to have a great contents in your website, that is really challenging. See? So I sharing with you also like some ecosystems on this my platform to take it as a case study. Okay, using it as a case study. Southeast Asia heritage, because my core business started with Malaysia heritage, and then now we are expanding ourselves, into the Southeast Asia, the 10 country. The reason why is because I find that there was a lot of historical values, and we are sharing many common, and because our history and our culture is strongly influenced, by each other, which is, I think, is a create a very great story. So then from here, I would like to more emphasizing to you on this circle, what is it about? So Southeast Asia, although it's a platform and it's an e-commerce, yeah. So in order to make this ecosystem sustainability, because now we don't talk about just surviving, okay, for moving another 10 years, yeah, that moving forward, if you pick up your new skill, you're changing yourself to a better world now, I don't think you make a plan just for a short-term plan. You should have a goal. Like, let's say we're 10 years ago. So how do we live in a sustainable way, and how to make sure our business is in the sustainable way as well? So first of all, essence, what does it mean? Identify the uniqueness of the contents. So I think I have given you some example, and I also have explained you the criteria on the importance, and including the enhancement like sustainable development goals, to help you to identify your uniqueness of the contents, yeah, to make it enhancement it. Then next one, you have the word empower. So working together with community or partners. So here is no longer like how powerful we are. Alone is not going to work. So we need a group. So what does community mean here? So community doesn't mean like I have to sharing the same religion as you, or I'm just the same, speaking the same language with you. So long we have the same goal. That is very important. We must moving towards together to reaching the same goals. So long someone can share the same goals with you, and this could be helping you to work together with the strong community, or we call it them as our partners. Yeah. And following is the word education. Why? Because promoting hands-on activity and experiences. So I think in the earlier, I keep reminding that promoting your products now is not just the promoting the product, not just a piece of the itinerary, but the hands-on activity and experiences. Maybe right now we can't go physically to experience it. That's why we need the marketing. So now we need to ready ourselves, to create the awareness using digital way, using the Internet of Things to support us, to make it happen. So the moment we ready, and by the time the world is ready, and that's where, you can start enjoy the fruitful result. Yeah. So next one, you can have a look on why the Internet of Things, or why the digital today, it's a compulsory. It's not like something, a new thing. Sorry to say, it's no longer a new thing. I think throughout this period of MCO, most of us surviving through because of the internet, right? We want to get entertainment through internet. We want information through internet. We want to purchase something through internet. I think we are slowly using it. Even farmers also have to working together, with people who know the internet as well, so that they can do a marketing for them. And that's where all the delivery services is provided. And that's how we make things happen. But how to get to know them? Because since we can't visit the site, so same thing as tourism. So I'm never looking into a very negative way. In fact, I feel it's a kind of a blessing that we are given this opportunity, to be more stand still in a place, so that we can have more time to preparing ourselves. Yeah. And this is why that I say changes for better. So we are not like going to changes to the backward. So it's a time that we can have sufficient enough time to ready ourselves. So here is some statistics I would like to share to you, that you can see whether you like it or not. As I say, whether you like it or not is a must, and it's a compulsory. So if you want to be in the industry, you want to be, actively and going through sustainable well in this industry, I think this is the figures, that this is a statistic already convince you. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully do convince you. So in the world population today, now we have about 7.7 billions of people they are actually using or even finding information or everything that using the Internet of Things. Then estimated numbers of Internet users now is 4.5 billion. Okay. And 84% of people say that they have been convinced to buy a product or service by watching a brand's video. So this is another keyword for you. Watching a brand's video, right? So just now I did mention a good content is not about just the words, but you need to make sure visual. People like to see the real things, not just the touch up things, not the mock up things. People want to see in real now. Okay. And 25% of the world economy will be digital by 2020, which is now. So I think from the throughout the whole MCO is proven. So people who go online, they can manage to carry on the business. But those who still doesn't want to be online, then I have to say sorry, because you just have to be patient and keep waiting until everything is resumed back in the normal. But as I mentioned, like no harm. So since we realize that most of 25% of the economy, it definitely, I would say that, or maybe more than this, okay, more than 25%, it all depending on the digital. So I think by now we should get ready ourselves, please. Yeah. So do not hesitate and do not keep thinking. No harm, because this is it's at least, a diversified way for you to earn your additional income. And you can see the last one is talking about 40% year-on-year growth for digital marketing industry compared to 5 to 6% growth in other industry. So in other words, it's like how impact is it that everybody is depending, because nobody will just like wait for, when they visit, then they will say yes or no now. So now even myself traveling, as I mentioned to you earlier, right? Currently, I'm start planning on the next year if I can travel. So where are the places I wish to visit? So all this information, where do I get it from? All this information, how do I compiling from? And then the reviews, where do I read from? And I want to see the real video, the real pictures. Where do I get it from? All through the internet. So digital marketing is a compulsory now. You like it or not, it is a compulsory. Yeah. And why, when we mentioned about this, that how to be different, because to be honest, when I was started, I never think of like want to create our own platform seriously, because I was thinking it's like, so long I have a good website, that is fair enough, and then I can always work with the other OTA, online travel agent. But slowly I realizing, that is not going to work well. Yes, maybe you can survive for the initiative, and then later on that will be different. And this is inspiring me, and also not only inspiring me, but it's actually motivate me that if I have a money and I need to invest for something, let's say for the marketing, so that is the only way that I have to, that is the only direction that I go to. So in 2012 to 2015, actually I spending a lot of time. In fact, I lost a lot of money too, to be honest, because I lost some money because I have no idea technology, and I just depending on people. So from the losing part, I learned the real hands-on experience and a painful experience. And in fact, today, that's why we develop our own team now. So we have our own IT team, media person and content creators to work with. And just to show you the difference, I mean, to let you understanding what are the differences, and why I writing this slide out to let you understand that why I think is so important. So the role of digital marketing here is stimulate positive feeling and emotion in potential visitors. Okay, so whatever you capture in your contents, please, positive feeling. So I say the message, your theme, your message, and the way you present it is so important. Yeah, so that it will help your target, your potential visitor to understand you well, Okay, so that's why when I started to have my website, and then I ventured ourselves into the short video taking, and that is where we started to, to gain more response, from the target audience. And that's why until today, in my businesses, that my customers, they are very clear. In fact, even I partnership with others, my these travel agent in overseas world, they are very clear. They are very clear on what we are promoting and what is our message that we want everybody to carry home. Encourage personal reflection and meaningful connection. So that is also another why all our tour operators and our personnel who are going to conduct the activities, our frontliners, we have a special training for them, because to me it's so important. Because remember, we need to be having the same goal. Okay, we need to understand each other so that we can create a great team to be partnership with. Give a glimpse of information and awareness about the place. So I always mention and highlighted, like, accurate information is important. What we can deliver, what we put on. What we can't deliver, don't say. Don't over promising it. Okay, because especially when you put your contents in online, it's so public, so you have to really show that your powerful is from what your responsibility, how reliable you are. So what you promise, what you should deliver. If you can't, then please don't make it a promise. Yeah. So please be genuine. Please be sincere. Okay. Then roll in the new era, uniting the sea countries as on travel destination experiences. So after this is what I have done, in the previous, and for the extension is currently, I also venture myself into the Southeast Asia country. Sea country here mean is Southeast Asia country. So we wanted to bring in this good concept because I always believing in integration. So the word integration means it's like all of us, we might look different, but we have a strong link because we're still sharing some same value. Okay, we might look different, but we still have sharing the same value. So 2016 until 2018, I was so involving into the other 9 countries in the ASEAN region. That's where I started to help to train personnel and also help the travel agent, or especially the tour operators, and also some villages that they might not the professional licensed tour operator, but we connecting them. You see, we connecting them, we helping them, we supporting them to make sure they create the good contents, which means the good products, so that we can promote for them. Yeah, and catalyst to spur the growth. So this is also like from the internet on this. Now we are expanding, and we can put more good contents into it that is will help up to shoot up, the numbers. And I believe in genuine, okay? And in fact, the current Southeast Asia Heritage.com, this portal website, we just newly launched beginning of this year. Although I used to have my Malaysia Heritage.net, mainly just promoting Malaysia, but Southeast Asia, it was recently, yeah? So it will still take time because we must understand online and offline, or the word organic. So I strongly believe in organic. Organic means it's like, sorry to say, at the moment, I haven't spent money on booms up the numbers yet, because to me, that is artificial. So I don't mind to have a little bit patient. And since I can bring my organic from the Malaysia Heritage.net customers into my new platform, Southeast Asia Heritage.com. So I need you to understand, sometimes the numbers you show like, wow, millions, and so doesn't mean you are good or you are popular. Certain thing is just a money. You can just invest in the money. But when you talk about the word organic is where we look into the genuine one. They are the real customers that who actually will supporting you. Okay. And usually this group of people, they all come from the word of mouth. But you need to stay connect with them. You need to like continuous, and then make sure your platform or your website is always alive, and make yourself visible to understand that you are still there. Okay, and enhance the delivery of service. So this is what we can do to help us, to also support, such as like if you can provide additional services like transportation or you have your accommodation. So what we do is like right now we have convert ourselves no longer just like a travel agent or a tour company. So we have our tourist center. So this tourist center, in fact, we call it the Tourist Information and Interaction Center. So this is another additional service, not just only like promoting the tour, the activity, but also we can conducting workshop, you know, some education program. And also it will be helpful for our partners when they want to do some small scale, you know, training, and then we have a venue. So this is all will be helping and supporting, you know, on our customers and partners as well. Yeah. And right now in front of me, this is the portal. So you can see we have put the word journey. So journey is mainly we promote the cross-border. So means it's like it could be Malaysia to Indonesia or out to Laos within the 10 country. So we wanted to make the target audience to understand, the customer to understand is it's never been ending. It's a journey. So you can continue, carry on from one destination to another destination. So you can see the theme line here. It's the topic here is Old Town Originality Food UNESCO. That is the summarized in short that is called TOURIST. So this is where how you can help and make our target customers to understand what sort of experiences that you're looking into it. But of course, you can combine the journey if you want. You can combine a different experience, you know, into one. So it's quite custom made. So we also welcoming custom made, because when you do your digital business, it's not about, oh, I only have a product to sell. So you need to be showcased and you need to be strong and supporting enough, like what are your strengths? And that's why these 4 years I've been spending a lot training a different frontliners in the different country so that we have all the same goal. So when we promoting journey, that means it's like, it doesn't like, we don't compare as, oh, Malaysia is the best or another country, you know, it's the experience, the standards are different. So remember my very first slide, quality and standard. So even throughout the journey, we have to make sure the standard, you know, it's equally standard, equally quality. Yeah. And you can see another word is called destination. So destination, we are helping each individually in their own destination to promote their special experience. So we have like Malaysia destination, Laos destination, and etc. And then we also have events. So such as like Be Tourist Community event, that is one of the example. So in the website, in your contents, it's not about just the tour and tour. So you have diversified yourself, you create like a more different way of interacting with your customers. Okay. And stories actually we encouraging our partners and also our customers to contribute their stories, to share with us when they travel, you know, when they have an experience in our journey, and to give us the, you know, like some great experience. But of course, sometimes you want to talk about negative, it's okay. Because for me now, we have to learn to accept. Many people who are afraid to go on the digital online, and because they feel like, wow, it's so public, and then what if we're receiving the negative, then what should we do? And then it will be tarnishing, you know, our images. But I think a thoughtful consumer, okay, a great consumer, they know how to analyze. They know how to analyze the cost, they will understand. But I think they are more keen and to know how you're responding, you know, as a product owner, and actually how you show your responsibility and how you actually show your professionalism on handling the situation. So you shouldn't be afraid of the negative. You should be seriously look into your preventive measure, how you prevent from creating this mistake out. That's why I say the quality and the standard. Your standard of procedure is so important. Yeah. And of course, the last is about us. So there is more on our personal, just to share with public, you know, who we are, what we do, and just to let them to get to a little bit know us. So this is another page that you can see from the cross-border tour, which is the journey, and also we will have the each destination. Yeah, and when we talk about digital marketing, sometimes we like to touch the word is search engine optimization, the word SEO. So how people search you, how people able to capture you. So in the general, to be the safe side, the places of the name is always appearing. Okay, that is the easiest way. I would say so. That's the easiest way. Yeah, and this is the reason why also. If you recap and you remember earlier, I mentioned why I building up, why ended up rebuilding up this portal is because when we speak to the OTA, most of the OTA they like big data. So big data means like big numbers, people easy to search, everybody will goes in easily. So that's why you can see like why every country is suffering. They are suffering on promoting the destination, always the few top populous one. Okay, and the secondary, the third one or the fourth one, even the how good, how unique about their products, nobody promoting it. But we Southeast Asia Heritage here, that is one of our biggest objective and our biggest vision, that we really want to reach out and help out all the good community, reliable community, and also the passionate community, to make them able to share their passion throughout the world. Then the next slide here, this is to summarize, to give you some idea that how to do the comparison now. Most online travel agencies are mainly focused on travel reviews and trip fare. Again, like how much is it? Promote professional tourist guide, yeah, and works to support regional NGOs and NTOs to promote Southeast Asia. Okay, but advantage of our portal is all this definitely we will be doing. Okay, and that's why now our tourist guide, in fact, if some of you that just to share with you, I'm also involving in Southeast Asia Tourist Guide Association, which is mainly my role play is not only just be a president, but I also train the tourist guide to be the tour operators, so to help them to be, to extend their career. And also I wish them to be reach out and help more. So same thing as I'm looking forward in Malaysia, that more and more tourist guide not only just be the tourist guide, but they can start slowly and started to evolve themselves to be the product developer, or just to keep going and be the OTA also. Hopefully one day you also grow as an OTA. Yeah. So the advantage of our portal is we supported by the competent individual. So each of us, whoever the products, whoever the partnership that we are working with, we actually train them first. We train them to meet the quality and the standards. Product with the assured quality, then that is like a super, like at least showing our responsibility, make the consumer feeling safe, and develop to meet the specific needs of the tourism industry, assisting and collaborating with the local providers to achieve sustainability. So SDG is the must. So all our partners, they have to go through and understand the sustainable development goals. Unique and specialized products. So we will help them to identify, to develop into the individual uniqueness and their strength. So to put it into the right topics, such as like TOURIST. Okay. And this is give you a two example just to comparing our neighboring country. So I would like to emphasize it's not just about the contents only and the technology and how you're organizing your skill, but don't forget branding. Okay, so a good branding, it's so important, because the good branding will help you up from the destination to the human resource development and finally the marketing. Wonderful. Just one example, you can see from the chart, the statistic chart here, from 2011 to 2019, how wonderful Indonesia branding campaign has been conducted all over the world and has gained the global recognition. And next one is passion made possible. Singapore, passion made possible. So after changing the brand, rename, not changing, but it's like rebranding, rebranding, enhancement on the branding, then you can see from the consumer activation to the trade events up to the industry partnership, global marketing campaign, and through the campaigning film and visual. And this is where the good international media coverage, how much of spend on the media, the new brand firms generated a total more than how many video views. So their strategy is more on video. using the video to rebranding themselves, and the statistic has shown what was the fruitful result. Okay, of course, as an individually, we are unable to do so much, right? So we need partnership. We need the support, not only just the government, but among also. So if you look at my last slides, it lets not just say the word thank you means forever farewell. So I put the word purposeful sensory journey. That is the tagline for the Southeast Asia Heritage.com also. So I really wish that, my contribution and throughout the 10 years in these businesses, cultural and heritage tourism businesses, and how my experience will go into the digital line, I cannot explain to you just because of this 1.5 hour plus. It's just like that. So I'm looking forward. Later on, I will share you, of course, like some Q&A, and I have an activity for you also. So this activity is not like just to keep you busy, but since you have been hearing, some theory facts, and I'm sharing you, some case study. So skill is something like you need to practice. So I'm really looking forward that activity I share with you can do a short video. A short video just using your smartphone, and then don't worry about whether this is a good video or whether is it nice, whether it is like fulfilling the, fulfilling the competencies or not. It's not about that. It's the initiative. At least you never make a good short video and choose the good topic and with the good theme and the right message. So it's better you do now. Then at least from here, you can slowly improvising yourself. So anyway, we're going to have a portal, so the official portal. So we will still have some time being given to interacting, and also I'm welcoming like question and or something that you are not clear. I always welcoming, because it's not easy. Seriously, it's not easy. Like just listening by 1.5 hours, we can do wonders already. Yeah, or 2 hours class, we can do wonders already. It really takes time. Yeah. Anyway, my name is Irina, and thank you for your session, and thank you for your time. And I'm really looking forward, seriously, I'm looking forward to hear more response, feedback from you. And I hope that we can develop and we are embarking this purposeful sensory journey. Thank you very much.
Kau suka dia.